Yeah. I take a cold hard look at the world now. Hold my hand out, got a plan now. I'ma help be the change cause I can now. Here I stand now, take my hand now. No pain, no gain, no shame. Work hard, play hard, okay. I think I get it now, don't wanna let them down. I'ma take the ground and speak my mind out loud. Here I go, proud of my notes. Teach them what I wrote, teach them all the hope. Keep them on the road to the dream. All I need is a team, build your own self-esteem. You can do anything, prove everything. Say what you mean and believe in your dream. Find that thing that you love, that you really wanna be. And don't give up till you've given absolutely everything. Yeah. Give me a chance now to prove that you're something. In your own head, all these thoughts you're confronting. We've all been there when you feel like you're nothing. Shut that shit down, crush those thoughts and just trust me.
Good evening, guys. How is everyone doing today? Wow. Oh, now my live chat's disappearing. Give me a little bit of a minute. I'm having a little bit of a rougher start tonight. Had to do a little birthday party for a little girl, 7 years old. Took me a minute to get back. So, thank you for your patience. It's going to make things a little bit easier. Get that. Okay, so much better, so much better. I had to just kind of make OBS set up a little bit better. So, wow. First off, thank you everyone who is here so far. I see D-Temp out there. I see D. I see Ozark. I imagine some more people will pop in. And if this is your first time here, my name is Adam. This is our weekly podcast where we review the crazy, stupid news of the week. Hit the subscribe button now and join us as we go into this clown world. Also, if you want to consider supporting me on Patreon, help a brother out. And finally, there is a contest going on actually with InfoWars that I have entered with my previous video. So if you have not watched my Jeffrey Epstein video, please give that some clicks because the more views that gets, the more chance I have of winning $5,000. And $5,000 would go a long, long way, my friends. But with all that now out of the way, got the Red Bull. Let's go into our first story. Now, this is pretty unbelievable. You know, sometimes these stories, take a look at this. Breaking: bomb squad investigating report of a small possible nuclear reactor inside a garage in a house in Columbus, Ohio. Wow, let me grab a pen. I don't even have that. That, my friends, that's a hell of a story. So the article states no radiation was found, but it also doesn't confirm nor deny the device was an actual nuclear reactor. That's pretty crazy. I'm just curious. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, this is like some serious, like, Back to the Future, Emmett Brown, stuff here. Was the guy trying to make a bomb? Or was he tired of paying high electric bills? Either way, if the boogaloo happens and I happen to be in Columbus, Ohio, that guy just made my science division. Now, this next video that I'm going to show you, I'm going to be honest. I have this in here more for the silliness of it than anything. And you know what? Actually, I gotta look it up real quick because I thought I had the window and I didn't. So let's go to cat. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm not as prepared today as I should be. But here we go. So we are gonna go to. Oh, we'll go to this one. Let's go to the big screen. Boom. Huh? We need noise. Listen to this. Listen to this. Hi, y'all. I'm sorry. That's just a quick one I had to give for you. D, the plutonium. Yes, you can get anything on the internet these days. You know, I mean, wow. Oh man, I am really just so not prepared for this week. And you know, I had everything done. This morning I got all the videos done, but we spent 4 hours with a bunch of 6 and 7 year olds. It was 10 girls. Let's just say this was a well-earned Red Bull. All right, so we're just gonna keep moving. This next video, I got a lot of videos this week actually. This one is hilarious. And also what you can't see right now is the kitten is trying to help today. She's walking on the desk, getting in the way of my keyboard and all that stuff. But anyways, take a watch.
Good afternoon, Walmart customers. If I may have your attention, please. Will Mr. Clinton Kilgepstein meet your party at the grocery entrance? Mr. Clinton Kilgepstein, please go to grocery entrance to meet with your party. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know if he doesn't show up like in 5 minutes.
Okay.
And come back and I'll do it again.
That woman had no idea the prank that was being played on her. Wow. What a week, huh? You know, this week, just so you know, we're going to get into a lot more stories. I got a lot of them today, but there was so much I could not even cover. This is crazy. This next one, this one might be a little bit scary. I mean, this is some real stuff right here, guys. If you, some of you may need to step away from the computer, from the show a little bit. This is a heartbreaker, a tearjerker. America braces for possible French fry shortage after poor potato harvest. The Great Potato Famine of 2019-2020 has begun. No more potato chips. No more fries. No more starchy deliciousness. We may all die like it's 1847 and we are mere Irish peasants. My God. My God. Is that... Wow, I totally messed that up. Is this the world you want to live in? Whoop. Told you I'm all jacked up today. Is that the world you want? Because that's where we're at today, people. Now, you really want to go to Crazy Town? This next one might be even more shocking. Willie Nelson has quit smoking weed. This is getting serious, guys. The legendary pot smoker that also happens to be quite the accomplished country music singer has stopped smoking the ganja, citing some health issues. No potatoes. My God, D, no vodka. He points out, no vodka. That's trouble for people too. You know, vodka goes really well in Red Bull. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. So, next story. This next story, we start with this. Of course, it's a Florida man, not President Trump. For those of you paying attention who were here last week, got the reference. Florida man arrested after punching Walmart customer for taking too long at checkout. Admit it, in this moment, you really relate to Florida man. You completely understand his pain. You won't do what he did. You won't condone it either. Not publicly, but inside you're thinking, good job, Florida man. Good job. Let's be real here. You know you've gone into that line, the 10 items or less, and the person in front of you clearly has way more than 10 items. You know you want to punch that person in the face, so good on him. Ozark, I'm going to have to check out your channel and see what that video is about. That sounds pretty funny. Moving on at a rapid clip today. First of, I think I got 6 pages of notes today. Like I said, this is a crazy, crazy week, my friends. Now, this next story, stories like this that make me glad I am not a cop. New York PD cop injured by razor blade stuffed inside his sandwich. Look, here at PCP Media, we are certainly not bootlickers, but we generally support and respect the actions of the men and women that make up our police forces. Usually they're not bad people. Usually they are doing a necessary job that is far from glamorous. And I hope this guy gets a speedy recovery. This is terrible. Now, this next story, we have to. Oh, by the way, the guy, he's generally okay. Before I go on, thank God that the man did not swallow. God, thank God the guy did not swallow the razor blade that he found, but he did suffer cuts inside his mouth and had to get medical attention. Now, what makes this worse is that the deli was not being very cooperative with the police investigation. Poor guy, man. Poor guy. So this next story, we're going to watch the video. It says, police tactics questioned after UPS truck police chase ends in deadly shootout. So, basically, a UPS truck was commandeered. The driver was held hostage. And this was down in Miramar, Florida. It was a police chase. And well, let's watch the video. This is all right. So you see the vehicle being chased. All right, it's got a lot of cops. I mean, does this not look like almost like the Blues Brothers? With how many police they have. So it's not necessarily a high-speed chase. They're not going super fast. Than a UPS truck. Let's see. Yep, there we go. You can see at least 3 cop cars right there. Now here's where things get serious. Now this is where people have the problems. Look. They are using civilians as meat shields, basically. Now, using their vehicles for cover concealment, good on them. But the end result was the end result was not pretty. The UPS driver was not part of, I mean, he was an innocent bystander, hostage, caught up in the situation, and didn't make it because the police shot him. The people are also mad because the cops were using regular people as meat shields. So, look, militarizing the police without proper training, that's what this leads to. That's what you see. That's how you see citizens caught up in the crossfire, and that's how you see a lot of people get hurt. Look, when I say the militarization of the police, look, police need to have the equipment that they need to do their job. You know, I have no problems with them having, they need body armor. Of course they need body armor. They probably need this. I mean, they definitely need the same stuff as our military uses in many situations, because they might get shot at. They're going to need tactical gear. They're going to need helmets. They're going to need to have scary rifles that people don't want the citizenry to have. But that is certainly not how you handle the situation. So, and look, they were in a rough spot. They didn't want to, you know, I'm sure they feel terrible. The officers involved feel terrible for the hostage getting killed. But this ain't it. This ain't it, guys. It's just sad. It's just sad. It really is. Slow speed chase in a white Bronco. Oh, you guys kill me, man. Yeah, when did OJ start working for UPS? Jeez, it's like over 20 years later and still referencing OJ. Now, this next story, I didn't even really link. Yeah, it's kind of just a big jump. Big jump. So let's go to this next headline. Hollywood is finally catching on to the booming drag queen economy. Jesus Christ. I need to add the Picard double facepalm to my video assets to give commentary to things like that. Look, you know what? I've had enough. I'm either voting for a giant meteor or Cthulhu for 2020. Every week, it seems like this podcast, the stories are getting crazier and crazier. Not because I'm looking for these things, but I mean, obviously I am, but these are mainstream headlines. I didn't have to look very far. We truly live in a clown world right now. I mean, I used to have to look for stories like this. Now I don't have to go too much farther than the major headlines. I mean, and honestly, this week I had so many more stories to cover that I wanted to. We could have had a 3-hour show. Many of them would make you laugh. Many of them would make you freaking die in the inside. Oh my Lord. It's just ridiculous. Now, this next story coincides with it. You gotta see this because this is kind of hilarious. All right, remember this Jessica Yaniv dude who he was trying to get his balls waxed, and no one wanted to wax his balls because he was trying to go to swim thing. Now he tried to go to a gynecologist, and this is the response on Twitter. So a gynecologist office that I go to referred literally to me today that we can't serve transgender patients. And me being me, I'm shocked and confused and hurt. Are they allowed to do that legally? Isn't that against the college practices? So then another transgender, Blair White, responded, you don't go to a gynecologist if you don't have a vagina. You don't go to a repair shop if you don't have a car. Stop trying to fucking bully people into touching your privates. So look, it's pretty simple, but I think this person's just trying to find lawsuit after lawsuit as ways to get money out of somebody, anybody. It's kind of ridiculous. It really is. Look, I mean, seriously, do you, but come on. Ooh, Ozark says Klingon 2020. Time to up the ante of savageness from Trump. Okay. I might be able to get behind voting for a Klingon. I mean, those birds of prey are pretty sweet. I always wanted, a bird of prey, with their cool little cloaking devices. Yes, I love me some Star Trek. Over the summer, I completely rewatched The Next Generation in anticipation of the new Star Trek Picard series, which starts next month. Woo! Yeah. All right. I admit it on video. I admit it on the internet. This is that I am a Trekkie. I mean, I would never go to like one of those conventions. But yeah. Anyways, I have gone way too much on admitting how much of a nerd I am. Let's move on to. I want to talk to you guys about the economy. Because I've been hitting home on this the last month. And it's serious, guys. Take out this headline. American jobs are getting worse. New economic index shows. So, guys, here's basically what's happening. Although the U.S. is on a record streak for job creation, many Americans feel like they still can't get ahead. It's not their imagination. The last 3 decades have seen the economy churn out more and more jobs that offer inadequate pay, a group of researchers found. The history of the private sector employment in the U.S. over the last 3 decades is one of overall degradation and in the ability of many American jobs to support households, even those with multiple jobs. So, if you take a look here, all right, so you can see this metric, right? How basically the quality of the jobs is going down. And there was actually, it looks like things were going up in 2006. But then, well, oh shit, we have a recession. And not too bad there in 2017. I wonder what happened a little bit in 2017. Oh, that was the second year of Trump's presidency. So there was a little bit of a good peak there, but still it's coming down dramatically. Now, let's also take a look at another headline. A key manufacturing index shows the U.S. remains in contraction territory. So manufacturing is contracting, is what you need to know from that. $1 trillion deficits as far as the eye can see, and hardly a voice of caution to be heard, unless you're here. Finally, Fed adds $95.56 billion in short-term liquidity to markets. Again! Again! This is the 4th week of season 2 of This Week in Stupid. And this is the 4th story about the Fed injecting liquidity into the markets. We've got $1 trillion deficits. and nobody bats an eye. U.S. manufacturing contracting. Job quality index shows there's lots of new jobs, and that's good. We need to have jobs, but they're not good paying jobs. I'm really concerned about our economy. We're still in the midst of a trade war with China. And when economies go south, massive wars tend to happen. I'm not saying the end is near. I don't want you guys to go out and overspend on guns and bullets, precious metals, and enough beans to feed your family for a lifetime in your newly installed nuclear bunker that you bought all on credit. But hedge your bets and make sure you have some savings of some sort, as we're clearly heading into an economic downturn. And, you know, this is actually funny. I started using the app Parler. I've actually had it for several months, but I started playing on it the other night. It's basically another Twitter, but it's basically catering to not censoring conservatives. And you guys will find this hilarious. Within 15 minutes of using it, I pointed these things out on a post that Laura Loomer had put up, and some dude called me a liberal. Then I was like, no. In fact, even when I started that post, I didn't say I was bashing Trump or I was anti-Trump. I was just pointing out these economic realities. My mind was blown when then I showed this guy an article showing my political work for Trump, his election in 2016, and the guy's like, "Yep, this confirmed what I'm talking about." Like, so not only did you're calling someone a liar, he called me a liar, he called me a demo rat. That he doesn't associate with demo rats, and then doesn't even bother to look at the source. So that was surprising. Parler, little out there. But hey, let's hop into some U.S. politics here, huh? D points out a good point. Says high skills, high wage, low skills, low wage, question mark. Yes, obviously, if you don't have the skills, you're not going to get a good job. But the problem is what we're seeing is this isn't talking that saying people don't have the skills to do jobs. What they're saying is that there is just less jobs that require these skill sets out right now, basically. So you can have someone having a lot of trouble finding a job because they are very skilled, very experienced, and still they're making $14 an hour flipping burgers at McDonald's instead of, doing something in IT or whatever. It's happening basically. It is what they're saying is they're shitty jobs. We're creating shitty jobs, and that's all there is to it. So if we want to have good paying jobs, we need to have, more business here. All we do is customer service. Moving on. We are going to go ahead now and start our U.S. News as far as getting a little bit more political away from the markets. First story. Probably can't really see that, can you? Here. That's probably better. Baltimore Mayor warns of body snatching white van targeting young girls to sell their organs. So we have the video. Let's take a watch, huh? Get rid of that.
And this is a story many of us have heard before. A mysterious white van being used to abduct young women, but this time Baltimore City Mayor Jack Young is saying it. He says people need to be aware it could happen. 11 News reporter Vanessa Herring is live at City Hall with the disturbing details. Vanessa.
And Mayor Jack Young made that comment about a suspicious white van during an interview this afternoon. Take a listen to what he said.
We get reports of somebody in a white van trying to snatch up young girls for human trafficking and for selling body parts, I'm told. So we have to really be careful because there's so much evil going on, not just in the city of Baltimore, but around the country.
Asked if he heard that from Baltimore police, Mayor Jack Young said,
No, citizens are. It's all over Facebook. And that's something that our police officers are aware of because, it's been reported.
We called BPD.
I think that is enough. The mayor of Baltimore just confessed his town has turned into a third world shithole. This is the type of stuff you hear about happening in third world countries like Mexico, not the United States. This is a new norm, apparently, in Baltimore. So, as places like San Francisco, people pee and leave their feces out on the streets, in Baltimore, little girls just get kidnapped into sex slavery, human trafficking. Now, this next story. Hillary Clinton dismisses lesbian rumors on Howard Stern. I actually like men, she says. I could have played the video, the audio, but I decided to spare you guys that. This was probably enough. Look, no. First off, does anyone actually really believe that? There are so many stories about people close to the Clintons talking about how she is a carpet muncher. Also, why is she still in the news? I saw another article saying she still hasn't ruled out running in 2020. Look, the only thing she needs to be running for is prison at the old folks home. Get this geriatric witch away. Get her gone. Speaking of people who are gone, one of the hardest decisions of my life, Kamala Harris ends once promising campaign.
We are so glad you came. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye now. Bye. Bye-bye. Remember, please discard all candy wrappers and popcorn containers.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. That comes from the end of Toy Story 2, in case you're wondering. And if you don't like the Toy Story movies, well, I don't care. What is wrong with you? Those are amazing movies. I haven't seen the fourth one yet, but... All right, next story. Oh my God, this is a week, guys. Just watch this.
Oh, we're doing this. It's just a joke. That's a joke, that's right. That's a full-service presidential candidate. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, look at this. We inaugurated the office in style. No office opening is complete. Who's next? Get in here. Yeah.
What? This election cycle is just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Yang is getting dudes on their knees so he can put whipped cream in their mouths. You think that's bad? Oh man. This Democratic Party. Watch this cartoon that someone made to some statements that Joe Biden made.
And by the way, you know, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach into the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
But wait, there's more. You don't think Joe can get any creepier? Watch this.
And when they cut to the President of the United States.
Did you catch that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wow. Anyways, so you got Yang. These are people running for president of the United States. Yang putting whipped cream in dudes' mouths. Joe Biden talking about his hairy legs. And then biting on his wife's finger when she's speaking. Contrast that with this.
And we're doing other things. The light bulb. They got rid of the light bulb that people got used to. The new bulb is many times more expensive. And I hate to say it, it doesn't make you look as good. Of course, being a vain person, that's very important to me. It's like, it gives you an orange look. I don't want an orange look. Has anyone noticed that? So we'll have to change those bulbs at least a couple of rooms where I am in the White House.
Okay, do you see the difference there? All right, this is why Trump got elected in 2016, or another reason he did. He's got a sense of humor, and despite being a billionaire, his persona, he's able to connect with everyday people because he's not doing weird crap like Biden and Yang. I mean, seriously. Also, it is absolute BS that the incandescent light bulb has basically been outlawed. It was good enough for over 100 years, but it can't have it anymore. No, sir. All right. While we are on President Trump, Lisa Page says Trump tweet attacks are like being punched in the gut. Really? Let me get this straight. So you were, if you don't remember who this woman is, Lisa Page, you might have forgotten. She was working with Peter Strzok. She was his mistress. They were having an affair together. And they were working in the FBI trying to assure that Trump did not become president, and Trump has just eviscerated her, and I guess she doesn't feel like she should have to deal with being called out and made fun of and the repercussions of her actions. Sorry, lady, it is what it is. You don't poke the bear. That's simple. Trump is so mean, making fun of me in public because we tried to make it to where he couldn't become the president. We were so sad. D-Tap called right there. Trump's never going to be elected, right? Right? Those are part of the text messages that she sent back and forth with Strzok, who is creepy as hell. And I did do a funny meme video of him about a year or so ago, I think it was. Next story. Rob Reiner. White supremacists made a pact with Putin to block Trump's impeachment. dude, this guy has hit like stage 5 TDS. This guy has been an amazing entertainer throughout the years, very talented, but his moon battiness is unbelievable. You ever notice how the left loves to call people conspiracy theorists so much? Well, this guy probably thinks the moon landing was faked and that the Earth is flat, because that is some ridiculous conspiracy theory right there. I mean, come on. They like to act like there's just like white supremacists under, every rock. Be like, today, I was at Home Depot and I ran into about 300 white supremacists. And then later I went to McDonald's and there was 20 of them there. What the hell? Does that really sound realistic? I mean, I'm not saying there aren't white supremacists out there, but they're like, I think the FBI said there was like 5,000 known white supremacists just a few years ago. Now, I only have one more response to say about that.
What a maroon. What an ignoramus.
Seriously. By the way, I love Bugs Bunny. Now, 60 Minutes, more than 300 ads by Trump campaign taken down by Google and YouTube. But hey, Silicon Valley has no intentions of trying to sway the election in 2020. Mass censorship in big tech is clearly fighting against the right, because over in Silicon Valley, they are all hard leftists. But they're going to sit there and keep telling you that Russia is manipulating the elections. Meanwhile, Google is actively attempting to manipulate the elections. Speaking of that, unbelievable headline for you. Revealed Ukraine was the origin of the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, and it ran right through the office of Eric CIA Ramella. We're going to read a couple of these paragraphs here. This is incredible. December 2015 was a pivotal month in many respects. During the first week of December 2015, Donald Trump began to establish a substantial lead over his Republican primary opponents. Vice President Joe Biden traveled to Ukraine to announce on December 7th a $190 million program to fight corruption in law enforcement and reform the justice sector. But behind the scenes, explicitly linked to a $1 billion loan guarantee to the firing of Ukraine prosecutor Viktor Shokin, who had been investigating the energy company Burisma, who employed Biden's son, Hunter. On December 9th, 2015, the reported whistleblower, Eric CIA Morella, held a meeting in room 236 of the Eisenhower Executive Office building with Daria Kalaniuk, whatever, I don't care about, can't pronounce that name, executive director of the Ukrainian Anti-Corruption Action Center, which was 59% funded by Barack Obama's State Department and the International Renaissance Foundation, a George Soros organization. Also attending that meeting was Catherine Newcomb, attorney in the Criminal Division, Office of Overseas Prosecutorial Development with the U.S. Department of Justice, where, among other duties, she oversaw the department's legal assistance programs to Ukraine. So, based on events that happened during the same time period where Obama's deep state operatives that part really doesn't matter. None of the rest of that matters. We start talking about Manafort, yada, yada, yada. But, no. Now, where this flows into the next story. Pelosi, I'll have no regrets if impeachment leads to Trump being re-elected. I think the left is recognizing their attempted impeachment attempt is falling apart. They also know Trump is going to win. They are simply trying to make it look like they are doing something, like they're wanting to look like they are fighting for this impeachment. But all they're doing is putting on political theater. It's a circus, smoke and mirrors. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay. That is going to sum up our political section-ish, or U.S. news, as we now hone in on the Pew Pew life. Let's talk about what is going on with gun rights. I got a few feel-good stories right here, y'all. All right. ATF study shows 423 million guns in hands of Americans. Subtitle, violent crime rate has decreased by 48.6% in tandem with ownership rise. While it is true that correlation does not mean causation, I got a good feeling that that helped. So, yes, the ATF shows there are now 422.9 million guns in the hands of Americans. That equals 1.2 guns for every person in the country. Also, in 2018, 8.1 billion rounds of Liberty seeds, also known as ammunition, were produced by the firearms industry. Also found, the most popular firearm in the country is the AR-15. The findings highlight there are now 17.7 million, almost 18 million AR-15s owned privately, a record high. More than 54% of all firearms produced in 2017 were AR-15s. Wow. Also, firearms ammunition manufacturing accounted for nearly 12,000 jobs in the U.S., creating over $4.1 billion goods shipped in 2017. Good job, America. Good job. Couple fun... Oh, wait. Where's the next one? Did we miss it? Oh, I guess I missed one of my stories, but we'll get to this one in a minute. I'll come back to you. Also found Black Friday purchases this year were the second largest single day in program history. Well done. Now back to this story. Couple finds rifle inside baby bouncer box bought at Goodwill. So they were trying to buy a baby bouncer, thought they got a good deal, but instead they got a 22 caliber Mossberg AR-15 style weapon. Good for them, but at the same time, look, please keep accountability of your firearms. Also, I have to leave. I'm going to Goodwill to buy all the baby bouncers. Now, we're going to hit a few more stories. I don't know why some of my headlines are actually missing. I'll have to bring up my headlines real quick. So we'll have to just pull up a few stories, onesies and twosies in just a minute, which is fine. Now, this story I'm really liking. Virginia counties move to become Second Amendment sanctuaries. So, long story short, less than a month after the Democratic takeover of the Virginia state legislature, nearly half of the state's counties have passed resolutions in support of Second Amendment rights. Nearly half. This week, Surrey and Craig counties declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries, joining more than 40 counties across the state that have passed such resolutions in recent weeks. While they are not legally binding, they are rather declarations of support by county officials for local citizens to exercise their right to carry weapons. The move comes as Democrats prepare to push sweeping gun reform legislation in 2020. Now, where it starts to get even more interesting, look at this. We need to send a message. Virginia sheriffs throw support to counties to become Second Amendment sanctuaries. So this is where it gets interesting as the Democrats overreach in their attempts to enslave the people, remove their rights to firearms so that they can commit genocidal atrocities as they always do throughout history. Tyrants always take away the guns before they start killing groups of people they don't like. There is real pushback. Law enforcement is siding with the people. Now, where we get some even better stories, I have to pull them back up because for some reason I lost them. Pulling up a few stories here. Have them all up in a minute. Oh, hold on. Told you, not prepared today. Not prepared. My bad. All right. So, where this gets more interesting, Virginia sheriff vows to deputize residents in response to potential gun restrictions. He is saying that if they pass these laws to ban certain types of firearms, the sheriff will simply deputize thousands of citizens. He has no restriction on how many people he can deputize. So he will make the laws null and void by just deputizing as many people. Like, it's like, oh, you want an AR-15, you're deputized. There you go. Screw their laws. I do what I want. Like, that is amazing. That is amazing. Now, and your side conversation talking about the objective witness or professor or whatever making fun of Barron, and then Melania tweeting back saying, hey, leave the kids out of this. And then the left actually, some guy came back and criticized Melania for sticking up for her kid. I didn't cover that story. That was one that did not make the list, but I see you guys are talking about it in the chat. It gives you wings. I'm getting cranked. All right. So now we do have to discuss some serious stories right here. Pearl Harbor shooting. You may have forgotten about this one in lieu of what happened in Pensacola. So this is a sad story all around. A U.S. Navy sailor who fatally shot 2 people at Pearl Harbor before killing himself was unhappy with his commanders and had been undergoing counseling, a military official said Friday. Gabriel Romero, 22, also faced non-judicial punishment, which is a lower-level administrative process for minor misconduct. The firearms used in the attack were actually his 2 service weapons. He wounded a 36-year-old man in the attack before turning the firearm on himself and taking his life. This is sad. I mean, this sailor was obviously going through some rough times. While that doesn't excuse his behaviors, it does show that there were some signs there that the guy he needed help. Like, I mean, I'm glad he took his life before harming any more than he did. But I think this is what happens when people get broken. It's just sad. I think this guy just needed help. Now, The next story seems to be saying the two stories about Navy shootings. So here's the thing. This was clearly a troubled individual. What happened in Pensacola turns out to be a terrorist attack. So the suspected shooter at Naval Air Station Pensacola was a Saudi Air Force member. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Saudi Arabia is going to owe a debt that was given because of this guy. The government of Saudi Arabia needs to make things better for these victims. So basically, a Saudi Air Force pilot was being planed at Naval Air Station Pensacola and decided to get a little jihadi. This is being investigated as an act of terrorism. While the left first came out calling for gun control, they didn't call for Saudi pilot control. I mean, let's be honest. What happened the last time we had Saudi pilots here on American soil, right? Come on. 9/11, no big deal, right? Now, I do have a good story about this, and there's a little bit more I want to go on. Okay. Pensacola NAS shooting victim saved countless lives with his own. There is a hero that came out of this story. Unfortunately, he did not make it. Family members have identified Joshua Caleb Watson, 23, a recent graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, as one of the victims of Friday's shootings at Naval Air Station Pensacola. Joshua Caleb Watson saved countless lives today with his own, wrote his brother Adam Watson late Friday. After being shot multiple times, he made it outside and told the first response team where the shooter was, and those details were invaluable. He died a hero, and we are beyond proud, but there is a hole in our hearts that can never be filled. Now, there's a... I want you guys to see this headlines here, okay? Can you... I don't know how well you can see this. Look, FBI hunts missing Saudis in Florida. So basically, there was actually several of them. We have Saudi airman radicalized before U.S. He made a tweet basically saying how much he hated the U.S., blah, blah, blah. We're bad guys. Hosted a party to watch mass shooting videos. Called the USA a nation of evil. Quotes bin Laden. 10 more of his buddies were detained. Investigation broadens. Pentagon chief won't call them terrorists, but the kingdom is distancing itself from it. And some are calling it terrorism, some are not. But this was actually a story I didn't get because it was kind of the 11th hour, was that there were actually several of his Saudi buddies were... one was filming it, maybe. There were several witnesses of it. They knew what was going on. Several have disappeared. So, screw these guys. Yes, DTEP, you did see that several other Saudi pilots were recording it as it was happening. Like I said, that was a headline I saw, but didn't have time to put into this. We had 6 pages of notes today to go through. And as I tried to keep the show only an hour long, hard to cover everything. I mean, look, actually, this is part of my closing now. It's been a crazy week. I didn't have time to cover stories ranging from non-objective lawyers bashing Trump's child Barron during the impeachment inquiry to Epstein being outed as a possible Mossad spy to Homeland Security trying to implant facial scans at airports, only to shelve the idea after a massive public outcry. The stories we did cover did truly illustrate the clown world that we are living in. Virginia looks like ground zero for the Boogaloo, and massive gun rights battles looming ahead. Police must now fear getting a bite to eat, while the rest of the citizenry has to fear being used as meat shields by the police, and equally fear death by cop if they find themselves held hostage in an active crime. Presidential election from the Democrat side is getting loonier and loonier by the day, let's just be honest. Finally, despite what some headlines are saying, it looks like we're heading towards some serious economic problems. Now, there is some good news, though. A lot of Americans are now fed up. They're starting to stand up for their rights. A lot of people became activists in Virginia recently, not people who keep up with the latest trends and know every single accessory that is available for their 50,000 AR-15s that they've been building for the last decade. We're talking about everyday Americans, soccer moms, regular people. In 2016, people thought voting for President Trump was going to be the panacea for everything. Now, the nation is collectively realizing that we have to fight back against the left and the establishment right as well. We have to be involved. We have to put our own boots on the ground. Our freedoms are being sold out by both groups, and people are fed up. It's not just going to Tea Party rallies. It's actually materializing into more, showing up outside of city halls. Look, we may actually be in the midst of a new American revolution, to which some would say, give me liberty, while others currently say, give me free crap. What a week. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button. Wow, I'm really zoomed in. Hope you enjoy that picture of my mug. I didn't get time to adjust the camera much. This show definitely a blooper episode entirely. Also, please hit the subscription button if you are new here. This is your first time here. Finally, please feel free to support me on Patreon. It does help. It really does. The more supporters, the more stuff I can give to people, the more giveaways. D, your cup, as you know, is in the mail. Can't wait to hear when you get it. Finally, follow me on Twitter. Thank you. Thank you all so much. All right. Take care, guys. Deuces.